Hello everybody and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting the A Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup 2021. We have Group E for you today. It's aarshap versus OvidiusNaso, Game 3. This will decide who moves on to the next round. Commentating for us, we have Ariel and Dapper Wormman, and tracking is Joss Bleedin and Professor Pixie. Say hello everybody.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
And I'll say hi for our wonderful trackers, unless they want to say a word. Sounds like no, but we're excited to get this match started shortly. Looks like it'll be rolling underway in just about a minute. Thank you, Professor, for waving behind all the buttons and for all those hard works with the buttons. And thanks again to ZeldaSpeedRuns for hosting this match and letting me and my co-commentator, Dapper Wormman, come and, talk your ear off about this awesome race about to happen.
Yeah, I'm Dapper Wormman, and I'm very much looking forward to this Game 3, the rubber match, elimination match, deciding who is going to win the winner's bracket, or the top side of this Group E, and move themselves into the main bracket of the 2021 Challenge Cup. And we are off.
Oh my. That's a present in the house.
Oh, always nice to get that full magic refill right at the top.
Yeah.
We will see if one of the item what we get from Uncle is a magic using item or not. Obviously, if it is a magic item, we would have gotten a full magic refill anyway, but we will see. For those of you who don't know, this standard start here, we are going to get one of, I believe, 7 weapons that the Uncle can give us that can deal some damage to all of the enemies here through the next 6 minutes.
Yep. Instead, we have a bow, so we have early half magic and a bow, and that's quite an arsenal to get going with.
Yeah. I really like the bow start. I mean, you get 30 arrows. That's usually more than plenty to get through escape and have, enough remaining to kill some more enemies when you get out there. And it even looks like the guards are dropping arrows, so we can get some extra refills on our way through here.
For sure. You can see aarshap killing a few more, probably fishing for bombs for that back of escape, but both players are off to the races.
Yeah, I think if they drop arrows from the beginning, it's not a pack that contains bombs. So right. Hopefully we're going to find some bombs somewhere else along the way. But of course, this guard is a key guard. It's got a key to get us through this next room. And we're going to be looking for another key.
If he didn't have a key, we'd be in deep danger. Zelda would be stuck there for quite a while.
Yeah, poor Zelda being held captive in the cell, as we will see in just another minute here.
Video's turning around for that refill. There's our second key in the chest. There's one small key, and as I like to call it, the map of uselessness. We are guaranteed somewhere in here, but everything else, well, have to wait and see.
Yeah, that map will inevitably turn up in one of the first 8 chests here. And we get the big key, rescue Zelda, and a small pittance of a reward, maybe just 20 rupees.
Yeah, take the couch cash and run on. But the bow demonstrating it's probably one of the better weapons at taking out that chain spike guard that holds the big key there. Not much to do than to shoot 4 arrows and knock it out.
And to answer a quick question in chat, are the blue guards in a different prize pack? The blue and green guards are in the same prize pack. And that also includes the snakes, or as they're actually called, ropes, that we get a little bit later. But the red guards, I believe, are in a different prize pack, but we will not come across any red guards in Escape. There are some rats in the back, which are in a different prize pack, so hopefully those will have some bombs, because it's either that or the one chest in Dark Cross Room are the only potential places to have some bombs. And both runners looking pretty good with arrows. I think they're going to probably spend a little bit of time killing some rats in the back here. And Ovidius getting a little bit of refill, back up to a full complement of 30 arrows.
Yeah, those ropes, if you're hunting them down, can be a pain in the half to get to. So, and the rats as well.
Yeah, their movement is, predictable when they hit a wall. Or I mean, they kind of start moving in a random direction, and if they hit a wall or something, they turn. But they're not like the guards that can see you and sort of go after you, which can kind of be confusing because you expect enemies to run straight at you sometimes, and they don't want to do that. But we get a boomerang. The other B. Oh, and the stun prize. Quick heads up, there is 8 bombs, so that is
that's
one wonderful thing to find.
Yes, our French Ranello boomerang coming through quite well here.
So no matter what prize pack the enemies are in, if they're stunned, they will always drop the same item, which in this case is 8 bombs.
Yes, and this is randomized when we roll the seeds, so we get 8 bombs this game. It could be magic, it could be 1 green rupee. You never know until you find boomerang or hookshot to stun them and find out. In the meantime, it looks like Airship checking the back of Escape, finding a whole lot of nothing there, but it's good to get it done and out of the back of your mind there.
Yeah, the first little mini challenge has been complete, because that can always be kind of tricky to route back in, and especially if you don't find gloves right away, which is a little shortcut to get back here. So
no one wants to take the lamp and re-walk through Escape. Oh, no ice rod hunt today. It's just sitting there. Escape was relatively loaded, it feels like.
Yeah, early ice rod does feel good. Now we hope that it's going to come into some use later in this game.
And we had an early map check from Aarshap, seeing crystals in all 3 Light World dungeons, so who knows? That ice rod can certainly help on land modes. At worst case, it's a nice stick to have. Oh, and there's, in case we didn't have enough magic already, our tree prize was a bunch of full magic refills and 1 stick in Lost Woods, and we'll see what the Thief's Hideout has momentarily.
Yeah, the seed is being pretty generous with the stun prize and this tree pull of full magic. Hopefully they can find some more money too. I don't think they're actually going to have too much trouble finding 20 more rupees, because there's some buried in these next few checks under some pots, and get some money to play the bottle vendor. This is pretty typical to run out of Escape, go to Kakariko. There's a lot of checks down there. We do have a bow, so potentially could be thinking about an early dip into Eastern Palace, but it's a lot easier with like a sword or a lamp or boots or really anything. So doing this check is not really a bad idea. In fact, it's usually a pretty good idea.
And interesting, Ovidius over there checking Lumberjack, just finding a full heart container. So hopefully won't see any Aghanim today, but you never know. And well, speaking of money, the back of Blind's house was just loaded with cash.
Yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind, that Ovidius did check that, and Aarshap just decided not to do it. It's not in logic to go through and beat Aga and bonk off that tree just yet, so maybe waiting to check it later, or just hoping it's not anything in this particular seed.
I mean, with no swords, I can't particularly blame him.
Yeah.
Got our first medallion of Quake, and a bunch of health and money otherwise. So far, a whole lot of nothing in terms of progression. One life lesson off the bottle vendor there.
Not the worst rebate, 50% rebate, but probably would have rather kept the money.
Oh, absolutely.
And some more money. What else is new?
Oh, apparently Kakariko's just home to all the couch cash tonight. But good news is our runners have plenty of bombs with that sun prize. Aren't going to need to buy any. Oh, and as we complain about all the money, there's our first set of gloves. Coming through that back of the inn. So that starts to open up a lot of things and is our ticket to the Dark World. We obviously want a Moon Pearl to do much there, but, you know, it's always a handy item to have.
Yeah, those gloves are pretty useful. They're going to make routing a little bit easier here.
For sure.
Coming up and checking the race game, and what else is new again? It's just some more money. And that kind of concludes our Kakariko checks. We did leave the bottle vendor behind, or I'm sorry, the sick kid who needs a bottle.
Right.
But we didn't have a bottle, so we'll put that on the to-do list when we do get one.
Correct. The good news is it's pretty quick to get back to sick kid.
Aarshap not even doing a check of what trying to do the fake flipper, but didn't quite get the Ancilla overload state there to do a splash delete. Not a big loss. You can kind of set it up easier in a different place that takes a little bit longer to get to, or maybe just wait till flippers to do that. But moving over towards the Eastern Palace area with that bow, it's completable if they know their dark rooms.
Yeah,
and there's three checks on the way here.
And this is personal opinion here, but Eastern's one of the easier dark rooms to learn, as long as that Igor doesn't start chasing you around too hard in the dark, and you can always just back out and reset the room. But it is definitely interesting to see that fake flipper attempt from the north side. You often see it from the south after checking Ice Rod Cave, or doing the NMG thing and just hopping over. But either way, Aarshap is running to Eastern, and we'll see where Ovidius runs.
It looks like we're going to get some divergence as Ovidius is going to go to the south shore here. And I do have to agree with you. The Eastern room on the way to the big key is pretty easy, and there's not too many scary enemies in the one on the way to the boss, but it is a lot easier with a sword, which neither of our runners have found yet. And
no arguments here.
Ovidius showing off the rarely seen ice rod strats in Mini Moldorm Cave, and getting a little magic refill on their way. Meanwhile, Aarshap got a bow. Oh, I'm sorry, bug net. I keep getting all my my bee things confused. And speaking of bee things, I see that Ovidius has found the boots.
Nice. Granted, you look a little silly running without a sword, but that definitely would have helped. The minute you find a sword, that will absolutely make Eastern faster.
Yeah. And now checking the dam.
Yep. The Stalfos room just misbehaving just a slight bit. As that one spawns right on the pot. Oh, there's that bottle for sick kid we were talking about. Sitting in Eastern.
That is a nice thing to find, especially if some of these enemies do give you some trouble. You got a little red bottle with some health refill there. We have a vanilla big key in Eastern, so gonna have to go walking around here while Ovidius is putting those boots to good use and checking out what's on the desert ledge and in this desert cave. Gonna get those out of the way pretty quickly, being able to run over there.
For sure. Because even though we don't have book or a flute and a lot of other items to get over into desert, it's good to know, and this is a one-off check that has a habit of biting me when I race, but this time it's just $50. As aarshap makes it through the dark room, no sword, no problems, as we go get our big key.
Yeah, and doing the NMG strat there, getting the sort of damage boost into that pot there, and not having to kill all the enemies without a sword or anything. Getting that vanilla big key, so we have... we're looking for one more item, I believe, here.
Yes. In the meantime, sorry to cut you off, but
no, that's
Ovidius finding the hammer in Bonk Rocks. That's a good prize for turning those boots in. As we head, using those gloves, and are we...
I think this is Houlihan setup. Yeah, they already have checked the back, and they're going to do a little weird glitch. I guess, I didn't catch why, but it seemed to be off a little bit. Normally, if you set that up, the game puts you in a room where there's 225 rupees, which would put Ovidius right there for a Zora check, but as it stands now is a little bit short. So gonna move on to other things and follow aarshap into Eastern Palace. Gonna be able to do it, as you said, a little bit quicker without a sword. It's probably minimal time save with those boots, but always feel nice to sort of dash around anyway.
Right, and the hammer is a sword if you squint hard enough.
That is true. The sword or the hammer is gonna make some rooms a little easier, and you can kind of see where you are for that. But yeah, aarshap navigated that dark room very well and is already in the room right before Armos.
Yep.
And
showing
grabbing
off
a few more arrows.
Definitely in the top of the group. You'll need 18 to knock Armos Knights over if you don't miss. We'll see how this quick kill goes as aarshap sets up.
I think that might have been 4.
My commentators cursed that one hard, as that one Armos Knights just got away from him.
That was still pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And gets the crystal, get our last item. There was, besides that bug net, nothing in Eastern Palace, so...
we had safety in bug net and bottle, but nothing interesting progression-wise.
Yeah. We still are on the look here from above, where we all sit, for that moon pearl to give our runners Dark World access.
Right.
Ovidius has 2 of those items we need, the gloves and the hammer. And aarshap is on their way to get the South Shore checks in.
Definitely.
So the hammer was in the Agena cave, correct? In desert?
So hammer was in Bonk Rocks. So you needed the boots turn in. But good news is good news for aarshap is that's pretty quick after a save and quit, going to Sanctuary. Yeah. But it'll be curious because I don't think either runner has checked Ice Rod Cave yet. And we'll see where aarshap goes after checking Dam. And then obviously we have everyone's favorite Scamfish at the top of the map, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what AirShap does with their routing once they get these boots, because you're just talking about Scamfish, Zora up there. It is actually logically it is logical right now with having the gloves, but it's faster to get there with the boots and a water walk state from that Ice Rod Cave area that you had mentioned.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
they are also short. They don't have 500 rupees quite yet. And there they are.
Off to the races, AirShap goes. As our chat points out, we know Thieves Town is a pendant, and there's going to be 2 more pendants somewhere in Dark World. So 3 Dark World pendants are going to make for some interesting routing decisions, as those dungeons just have so much more items in them. I guess unless they're named Misery Mire, but we'll see where our runners choose to go once they get there. But neither runner having access yet, so all we can do is think as our runners at this point would love a sword, would love a moon pearl, or some flavor of progression. Ooh, an Ice Rod Cave not having it.
Yeah, and AirShap gonna be careful. They are on 1 heart. They'd made it around these crabs pretty well, and I noticed they did set up the water walk state there in Ice Rod Cave, and looks like they're going to dash over and hop down. This was something they wanted to do some water checks, maybe the hobo or something earlier, but couldn't or just didn't get that fake flipper state on the first try, and sort of went on to Eastern, which I don't blame them. That was a pretty good call, and they did well.
Yeah, if you're...
Sorry.
No, I say if you're confident in your Eastern dark rooms, there's no reason not to dive Crystal Eastern with a bow. But Waterfall Cave turning up relatively empty. A B doesn't make much buzz for progression as we go check Zora. Oh.
Yeah, and they
that's right.
Didn't have enough money, so maybe they might go do bonk rocks here, or set up a hula hand. They don't have flippers, and they do have actually boots and gloves, which there's another setup you can do to get to that hula hand room. So if they are thinking about that.
Yep, I would. If I were in AirShap's shoes, I would bonk rocks and absolutely be setting up a hula hand right here, because there's a relatively easy setup. It takes a little while, but it's pretty foolproof, because even I can do it. Is if you run over to the ferry drop, you can set up a hula hand pretty quickly, but instead it looks like we're going to go turn in that bottle. No one wants to believe in our scamfish today. I can't say I blame them.
Yeah, honestly, any one of these checks could have what we are looking for, or something else that we didn't even know we were looking for. So we'll see what the sick kid has today under his silver arrows. All right.
Good morning to sick kid. That's a thing to be had if hidden under the bed there, but nice to have, but not our answer.
Yeah, and as a reminder to everybody watching, this is the Challenge Cup, and we're racing with a normal item pool, which means we can get silvers, we can get all 4 of the swords, all 3 of the shields, and a couple of mail upgrades. Full inventory here that the developers put into the game from the vanilla game. They're just going to come in a different order this time.
Yes. Always an interesting seed when you have silver arrows and a hammer before you find a sword. But that's just the way the rando cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, and I think Zora is our only logical location left. There are some sequence breaks we can do to go up the mountain and such, but there's really only 2 checks up there and 1 more we can see. So, since we have full knowledge here, and the runners obviously are only looking at their own screens, but I believe Zora is going to have something, be it maybe that moon pearl or something that opens up a few more checks to prolong our stay in the the light world.
Say about the rudest thing I can think of is if he has a cape, and we do actually have to go visit our wizard in Moon Pearl on Pyramid, but that's about the worst concoction I can brew up right now. But I agree with your assessment. Unless Spectacle Rock has something sequence broken hiding on it, I do believe we're owing Mr. Zora a visit here.
Yeah, and even if we do get the cape, I think we don't have a lamp and we don't have a sword to slash the curtains.
That's true.
So
We don't have a lamp.
So
Oh yeah, and the
Aarshap might. Yeah, they did get it. So
yep.
The game just really doesn't know where you are for some reason and says, "Go here. Everything's fine. Everything's fine."
It's fine. Yes, this is very much the "this is fine" room. And our wonderful tracker pointing out, you see that extra bounce. It's a good sign there. But looks like we're gonna get.
Are they gonna buy some bombs or something to, or maybe this is a setup that helps with the fake flipper or splash lead. I don't know if the silver arrows are gonna hurt that though, but yeah, great. Hey, that seems normal. Just a duck swimming in the water.
Right in their natural habitat. Nothing to see here. Mushroom, powder, shovel, moon. Yeah, so shovel, mushroom. We do have the hammer for powder to be a reasonable fetch quest. Lamp would let us get up the mountain to find things. Josh points out it could also be the flute.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a bad check, especially if I think Aarshap has done pretty much everything, and this is their last logical location.
Agreed.
But so we're going to be 500 rupees poorer very soon, and Zora is going to give us something most likely important.
Yep. That is most definitely important. That is our Moon Pearl, and that is Dark World access for our runners. Yes, we could have found Book for Desert. Was a plethora of route options Zora could have had, but instead, we're even after all that divergence, both our runners will go to Zora and go from there.
Yeah, if the seed had given it, I mean, we were talking about how generous it was with money, but I guess it wasn't generous enough. We still had to do the hula hang glitch here and get there. And all the left side dungeons are our pendants today.
Yep.
And Swamp Palace is that other magical 5/6 crystal.
Yep. I guess we definitely had a quantity over quality of money early game. We found a ton of 20s, but none of those nice 300s that really just make it not a problem. Yeah,
so Ovidius is on their way to Zora, and Aarshap just a little bit ahead, checking Hype Cave now. Quick 5 checks here. Oh, first sword.
Hey, there's our sword. It turns out this wasn't a swordless seed after all. Very much speaking of those 300 packs, that'll be good for the digging game. Just kind of saves that headache. Or if you want to go over to Palace of Darkness, you can now actually pay Kiki and get in there without awkwardly digging around, or, well, there's no shovel, but flailing around for that last 20.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to go straight for pods. Without having a fire source, either the lamp or the fire rod, it's a little scary, but looks like they're going to look for a little bit more help, maybe. Do some of these checks that are a little bit easier when you have the boots. You can just kind of run to them. They don't take up as much time. I don't blame Aarshap for this. I would probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
Especially the other Dark World entrance we have access to right now is in the Thieves Town area, and or I guess the Village of Outcasts. And we know Thieves Town and Skull Woods are pendants, so we can hopefully avoid going there the whole seed if the seed has been nice enough to put the items in other locations that we don't have to go to those pendants.
Yeah, and it's interesting because both Skull and Mire only have those 2 items, and with Thieves Town having the 4 plus the 5th on green pendant, if I'm forced to do a pendant dungeon, I'm definitely going to pick Thieves Town first. Well, we'll see what our other fish has in store for us today.
And
Well,
300 rupees.
Yeah, there's our money problem solved. Chat asking what was in Pyramid. I believe it was just a piece of heart.
Yeah.
AirShap didn't spend much time looking at it, so I can't say it was anything good. But and speaking of that Village of Outcast area, Ovidius looks like they're heading there first, as AirShap is right on their toes, heading over and checking the west side of the Dark World map here.
Yeah, so as untempting as those Thieves Town being a pendant is, we do have everything to full complete it. We have the hammer. Yeah, which is going to put the whole dungeon in logical access. There was a sword that AirShap found in Hype Cave, but Ovidius has not done that Hype Cave check yet. So there will be 3 other swords along the way. Maybe they'll find one, make things a little bit easier. But there's that cape.
Yep, cape hiding in the chess game. That'll be interesting to see if that makes the Skull Woods play more tempting or anything. But AirShap apparently didn't need any temptation and said, "You know what, Skull Woods sounds like a place to be," but he's already checked a good chunk of the eastern side of the map. And if you find vanilla fire rod, or who knows, as I said, the boots make everything better. But so far, I've found a bunch of dungeon items.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 chests in here, depending if you get the big key. And there's only 2 items in the dungeon, but it's so easy to get in here because it's literally only requires Dark World access. So,
Right.
It makes sense to check. Meanwhile, Ovidius found, in addition to that cape, some blue mail. So, a couple of safety items there in Village of Outcasts.
Yes.
Cape is usually sometimes required to get into the Aga Tower, but in this seed it was not. So I'll call it a safety item at this point.
Yeah, it's makes those Ganon fights just so much easier to hit those one-on-ones if you don't have a good sword, which, this is a standard seed. We'd love to see it, but it just makes things easier.
And Ovidius found a fire rod there in Thieves Town.
So that would let us complete Skull Woods. It seems like going down to Thieves was the right call, but hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, that portal is a little tricky, and if you can just go right up and check Skull Woods, I guess it makes it faster than checking it later because of having to go all the way around. But
goodness gracious.
Are they intentionally taking a death warp here? Probably.
Yes.
Probably just trying to avoid the back because it is a pendant dungeon. Doesn't necessarily need to be beaten.
Yeah, for sure. And especially after finding Fire Rod and Hookshot in Thieves Town. That's 2 of your items. Yes, it's a green pendant, but that opens up the entirety of Skull. Cape is a check. Hookshot makes sequence breaking Death Mountain more appealing.
For sure,
you have your hammer. You can get to Hera. You have your Fire Rod for the basement, God forbid. There's a lot you can do that isn't the back of Thieves.
Yeah, the mountain is really tempting at this point. And part of this in a 1v1 race, you say, well, I don't want to check the back, but is my opponent going to check the back? And probably not. I think we're both going to make the same decision here. Or, convince yourself of you have to be thinking about what your opponent's going to be doing. And I think this is the right call in this circumstance, not knowing where the seed's going to go. AirShap not too far behind, going to get that Fire Rod and Hookshot soon.
Yep. It always makes sense to chase that density of items wherever it's hiding. So the question I would have, knowing what we know up high, and as Ovidius checks the front and finds a whole lot of nothing, you have the fire rod. Do you go say hi to Moth? Do you bail? What do you do in their shoes?
Yeah, I don't think there are any items here in the front of Skullwoods, right?
Correct.
So there's 2 items locked behind fire. I mean, you're here. Aarshap doesn't have a sword, so they actually won't be able to go beat the Moth. But I think investing, it's going to be kind of long to go over there, and but you are here. There's not really going to be a better time to come back because you're probably not going to go into Thieves Town at all. Until it's one of your last locations remaining. So, if you're going to spend another 45 seconds to a minute to check something, now's the time instead of doubling that time later by having to come back. That being said, I would probably skip out if I was running.
Yep.
Or, hey, I came in here to get 1 item. I'm going to get my item. Gosh darn it.
And I've definitely had that stubborn streak. And as mentioned before, our pod is open. Gotta run your dark rooms, but Aarshap, we have a fire rod that helps some, but you still gotta do that maze in the dark if you want all the items, or you can always try and bomb jump the big chest, but it's rando, who knows where the goods are hiding.
Yeah.
But it does look like Ovidius believes in that stubborn streak and is going to pay Moth a visit, well, as best he can anyway.
Yeah, like the old man on the porch, gonna be very stubborn.
Yes,
but this isn't too bad of a time investment considering where they were at the time. So, and they know this is an item, or it's the big key that could actually be. Yep. Commentator curse.
Rude.
I'm sorry.
That's
so.
rude.
I think you have to check the big chest at this point because you clearly said I'm going to get my item. But yeah, Aarshap going into Palace of Darkness here, and based on the way they went through Eastern without a sword, I don't think they're going to have any problems here. They've probably done a few of these dark rooms a few times. Yeah. Fire Rod does make the one on the way to the boss just immensely more easy or easier.
Correct. Yes. I'm willing to try Helma with the Fire Rod. I don't ever want to do it blind, because I can normally. Yeah. I don't know, Helma just seems to always stiff me items, but that's just my inexperience.
I did it once. I think I had 17 hearts and I barely made it through. So. We did not get a key in the front. And there's a key. Couple keys.
4 keys in the front somewhere, so you can count your keys and figure out where things are. And all of Ovidius's work, unfortunately, just ends in a piece of heart. So that's got to feel bad in his shoes.
Yeah, well, you checked it. You know what it is. The known is always better than the unknown, I think. Obviously, would like to have the time back, but...
Absolutely.
So we'll see if they make a couple gambly plays later to maybe make up some time, but all in all, I think they routed that part of the world pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
The number of chests they opened didn't necessarily get as many items as they want, but Fire Rod Hookshot gotta be feeling pretty good.
Yep. We have our favorite fetch quest item, the shovel, on the big key chests in Pod. As Ovidius will finally be getting a sword 38 minutes into a seed. That's always a fun place to be for a standard seed. Either way, there's nothing stopping that shovel from leading to something, but Pod really not cooperating with our runners so far. There's plenty in the back, to be sure, but we'll just have to wait and see. Oh.
Yeah, and Aarshap flipped the switches here, so looks like they're going to be heading to the back before they go to try and defeat Helma. maybe hoping for a lamp or just anything. Anything's nice. And a new check on Ovidius' side. We get a blue cane off of Stumpy, and now they're going to go probably to dig game here, which is another new check for us.
Agreed. And I completely side with aarshap here. The rupee basement, the dark maze. That's just a ton of items to be looking at. Or chest, anyway.
Yeah. So there's 5 items in pod. I guess we found 2 of them. There's a compass, which is dungeon trash.
Yep. And speaking of fetch quests...
mushroom on the dig game.
Yes.
Let's see if they turn that in right away. Just did a save and quit. Might be good to try and save scum it, but nope, just gonna go right up the mountain, I think.
That feels like the right play with no flute, because whenever you do... Well, Meyer is a pendant, but assuming we find a flute somewhere, it's a pretty quick check. Oh, that's unfortunate. On aarshap's side.
Yeah, that I don't think they got through the dark room, so that wasn't that was not an intentional death.
No, those... Well, I'm blanking on the enemy names, but the fire caught him, and that is just...
The little dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not their name, but...
I'm sure the omnipotent
Kadongos?
chat... Yeah, baby Dodongos, maybe.
Yeah.
Kadongos. Thank you, Joss, if that's actually their name.
Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah.
I think it is.
Kadongos?
This is...
Okay.
Yeah, without those Kadongos in there, this is a pretty easy room to navigate, but they do make it hard with the breathing fire, and they do some damage. Even though we're on blue mail, we only have 6 hearts now, so
yeah.
Did we get the big key? They might actually be looking for the big key back here, which I think is probably going to be in this chest, and then...
Right. I think the big key is in our dark maze, as inside Spectacle Rock just has some ammo we don't need, and on top is more ammo we don't need. So we headed over to the east side of Death Mountain on Ovidius' side, seeing if we can find some goodies. Out of logic without a lamp, but hey, who knows? Ooh.
Aarshap. Yeah. That was a intentional death. They put some bombs down to go back to the beginning of the instead of running back through the dungeon, they're just gonna go to the beginning.
Yes, as our runners have no mirror to teleport out, that's faster than Ovidius finding our Titan's mitts, which opens up quite a lot, including the Dark Death Mountain there. So,
yeah, that's a great thing to be finding on the mountain, because a lot of times you want to be waiting to do your mountain trip when you have those mitts, because you can check the 6 other chests that are up here.
Right.
So to find them on the mountain itself is pretty good, but nothing else really in the 7 chests in Paradox Cave.
Right.
So named for its weird layout there, with the top, or the bottom being the middle and the middle being the bottom.
Up is down, and stairs don't make any sense. But yeah, aarshap off to go chase down Helma in the dark. As we'll see nothing of value on the floating island, and Ovidius presumably off to run our favorite Moldrum down in Hera, and then go check Turtle Rock. Well, what needs to be found to get into Turtle Rock, and go from there. Although we are only a red cane off of logically being able to do Turtle Rock. Okay, and a lamp, technically. There is that one dark room, but...
Oh, yeah. Tower of Hera not starting off very well. We have the small key, which is going to give us access to the basement to and go through that tile room and all that. But we do have some equipment that it can help us get up there faster. We'll see if Ovidius wants to do that. And looks like they do want to do that, which is a thing called Herapot, where you sort of bonk into this, or you bomb into this pot here and clip into it, and
yep,
you're going to be at the top.
I've seen it with hook speed. I've seen it with bombs. It's all magic to me. It's pretty precise. Hey, all I have to do is mention hook speed, and he tries that route, as our other Kodongo is yelling fireballs. In the meantime, aarshap making it to Helma with Blink and he's there. And Silver Arrow is making Swiss cheese of Helmasaur. I'll see if he has any rewards besides a well-earned crystal on aarshap's side.
Yeah, that Silver Arrow does one. It's just a one shot there to get Helmasaur down. Meanwhile, Ovidius gets that Harapot in, and so they're not going to have the big key because that's in the basement. Going to have to skip that chest. Now we hope that nothing is in that chest, and we find one item in that chest there. I believe that's the compass chest. It's a bottle with a fairy, and we're going to hope the other item is up here on the boss. The name escaped me. Moldorm, thank you. So we got a hammer. That's going to be 3. Yeah. We have the same wavelength there.
Indeed. 3 bonks and Moldorm will be spinning no more until we visit him again in Ganon's Tower. But fingers crossed for our runner here. Ooh. But no, our last item in that dungeon is hiding in the big chest. That's always frustrating.
Yeah. So, Ovidius has a decision to make. Do I go in and do the slow check and wait for Tie Room and get one item? Gonna have to Harapot again too. It's not just gonna be down there. And I think they're just gonna move on. I mean, there's a lot to be doing. They're really gonna be efficiently clearing this mountain here because they can do the spiral cave on their way down, and then get the Dark World checks out of the way right after that. So everything's gonna be ticked on their tracker here.
For sure, and putting myself in Ovidius' shoes, feeling behind after that Fruitless Skull Woods play, I'd be willing to abandon Hera Basement. That's
the
likelihood that I think my opponent does that is slim to none.
Yeah, you got a crystal. The crystal is really the most important thing, obviously. We need 7 of those to get into Ganon's Tower. Looks like aarshap is going to go do Pendant Skull Woods, going right to the boss. I'm
going to give the hot take and say I would rather be digging into Thieves with the green pendant. But, I mean, you've got your Fire Rod. It is locked behind more items. Maybe it's the right call here, but Fighter's Sword, you do have half magic. Gotta give it that, but...
Yeah, and the hammer is a little tricky, but it's a really nice weapon against Mothula here. And this is in logic. The mountain is out of logic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think you were saying that. There's a lot to They do know this is an item as well, and sometimes you just want to go where you know you're going to get a thing. I forget who, someone said logic is merely a suggestion. It often is.
But it definitely can be useful. Backtrack and
there we go, Mothula's down.
Yep.
Yes.
Ooh. So, a nice bit of jewelry for aarshap there. As we go check, see if anything's hiding in the Hookshot Cave.
Oh, wow. Book and flippers. And, well, there's Ether, which is actually our medallion to get into Turtle Rock. We actually can't go any farther than opening it because we don't have that red cane, the Cane of Samaria. But it's nice to have that.
Oh, absolutely.
Which Ovidius does now.
So Hookshot
aarshap going to get the bad news. Yeah, that was pretty good. I believe Ice Palace is now open with the mitts and Fire Rod flippers, yeah. So see if that's next on their to-do list. And doing another kind of long fetch quest here, Spike Cave. This is in logic. We've got magic and a safety item there, an invincibility item.
Yep.
As chat pointed out, the mountain isn't really in access anyway, but since you're here,
yeah.
So it's sort of in logic. It's logic adjacent.
And logic adjacent, and that's probably one of the best times to do Spike Cave. And that fun little pseudo fetch quest was rewarding with a Master Sword. That definitely makes Cold Stare, or honestly Ice Palace in general, just a lot more comfortable. But looks like instead we're taking that book, wandering over the desert, and seeing what we find.
Oh yeah, this is a crystal as well, right? This is actually one of those red crystals. So yeah, putting that a higher priority above Ice Palace, not a bad decision. 2 items in here. We've got the boots, we've got Fire Rod, we know we can beat it. Why not just go beat it?
And since Myra's a pendant, there's no need to put it off of, oh, I need to wait till I have Myra access. Just go do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in an ideal world, you already have the flute and the mirror, but we don't have those things right now.
Rando is rarely an ideal world. As we start nosing into desert, we find a piece of heart as our first item, but I think as you said earlier, it's never a bad idea. The crystals are the real prize here. You need those to beat the game more than anything. And desert was definitely indeed boots locked here.
So I'm wondering where the lamp or flute is to actually give us logic up to the mountain and all that.
That's a great question.
Probably in the back of Thieves Town at this point. Or on that mushroom.
I would say it's back of Thieves, Green Pendant, or on that mushroom. That mushroom, until you get a lamp, there's not a whole lot of reason to be going back up there because we've checked Catfish. Well, one of our runners has checked Catfish. We've already checked the whole Zora area. You don't accidentally end up on that side of the map very often.
Right. And we have found one item in desert. We're hoping for a second, or we're going to get a second one. And I would be hoping for the red cane, which is going to make an Ice Palace clear a lot faster. Because that is one thing I wasn't thinking about when I was talking about Ice Palace earlier is you kind of have to do it either the vanilla way or if you know Ice Palace bomb jump to get through it. But it's going to be a lot faster with that red cane. You can use Icebreaker glitch.
Yes.
Oh, and we still have this shovel that we need to check here.
Oh, yes, we do. Shovel turned out to be a metal detector today, finding a sword upgrade. If I were Ovidius, I'd be hoping for a mirror as another item, because that will open up Swamp. We have her hammer, we have her hookshot. There's a bunch of items in Swamp, as much as we'd like to make fun of Left Side Swamp. Who knows, maybe that has our answers today.
Yeah. Looks like Aarshap is doing fake flipper there, which you can get if you go into the water and do a screen transition at the same time. I think actually with boots you can bonk off of that statue, which they used the bomb to be on the immediate leftmost pixel and set up that water walk perfectly, or fake flipper perfectly every time.
Yep.
That's another, you can use that bomb trick where you see a lot more runners do it on the south shore, south of Ice Rod Cave.
Yep.
And there's that mirror on that shovel. That's going to make the mountain a little easier for Aarshap when they do go up there or see break up there. But trying to think that opens up Cave 45 and Graveyard Ledge, but actually not Swamp Palace for Aarshap because they have not been up the mountain and they do not have the flippers.
Correct. That is one of the few places you can't fake flipper is in Swamp Palace, as Lambo's hiding our third medallion, so if we ever wanted to go into Mire for some forsaken reason, we now almost certainly have access once we find that flute.
Yeah, that's nice to find. Obviously, we don't want to be going into Mire, but we do know now with a couple more items that we'll be able to get in there no matter what when we do have access to the area. Airshap, I think, gonna do that graveyard ledge, and that does There's a King's Tomb over there. Probably trying to stay in logic here, I think, as much as possible.
Yes.
I was talking earlier about finding the mitts before you even go up the mountain. Maybe that's in their head right now. I don't know if maybe going out of logic has burned them before, or just doesn't like doing multiple mountain trips, which eats up a lot of time, to be honest.
Oh, for sure.
But King's Tomb was nothing. We got that quick check on Ovidius' side, and now they don't know it yet, but they're gonna get their mirror very soon after turning in this mushroom.
It's a very obnoxious place for it. But yeah, logic is great for finding. I always enjoy being aware of logic, because that can help you find that missing, in our case, lamp or flute, because let's say something in desert was needed, that means whatever desert unlocks can't have our lamp or flute, because you need one of those to get up the mountain. Logically, anyway. Certainly didn't stop Ovidius.
Yeah,
and
just some money there.
Yep.
Sorry, what were you have to imagine?
I'd have to imagine we're running down to swamp here. There is nothing stopping Ice Palace, but either way, we're taking the South Shore dive here.
Yeah, and is swamp our other red crystal, right?
It is indeed.
Okay, yeah, but they are going to do Hobo now, which is probably going to lead them into Ice Palace, unless we say them save and quit from Hobo, which
right.
A lot of runners like to do. Maybe it saves time depending on where you go next. Looks like Airshap is biting the bullet here and going up the mountain. So, but I think Cave 45 might be our only check left that mirror opened up. So that might have our lamp or flute or something else that leads to some more checks based on what's on the mountain. Yeah, more adventures. Little side quests.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Ovidius not saving and quitting there is got eyes on ice. Well, I say that. He proves me wrong and starts...
They have not done pod yet, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which, from where we sit, I think pod had a shovel, which will eventually lead to sword number 3, which is nice, but isn't quite our progression answers here.
Yeah, that was Airshap's second sword, I believe. So we already have 2 on Ovidius' side. Yeah. Yeah,
because the third, the other sword besides the one in Hype Cave was on the Spike Cave. So yeah, we have Hype Cave, Shovel, and Spike Cave, which are 2 obnoxious places for swords and 1 nice. But Airshap proving that mirror useful on the mountain trip. Looks like he'll be diving straight into Hera. Oh, that's true. One other thing we missed. It's not where our flute or lamp could be, but we do have Hera basement. And we'll have to see if Airshap here decides it's worth a look.
That is true. Yeah, that could have flute or lamp. Depending what's in K45 or in the back of Thieves Town or on Green Pendant or something, or potentially it could not, based on where other things are logically. But I do always like when I am up on the mountain finding flute or lamp, because it kind of gives me a clue where
the other
things might be.
Absolutely. And it's that question, as Airshap has seen a good 20-25 minutes more of the game as muscle memory takes over.
Yeah. The bad muscle memory, or as I like to call it, what I do all the time because I'm forgetful.
Yes. As Herapot is faster than doing the normal vanilla big key if you're good at it. I certainly am not, but That's why I'm commentating and not running right now. Either way, looks like we're getting Master Sword spins, which do the same amount of damage as Hammer, as Moldorm is misbehaving as his tradition.
I think they got one poke in before that spin. There was definitely a poke there.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Moldorm is angry. Good use of the cape there. Very quick thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're going to probably continue on. One thing that they are going to be able to do, they're going to find this book if they, go over and do the hookshot cave and stuff, and they'll be able to mirror and check the ether tablet when they're up here, because Ovidius did not have the mirror when they were on the mountain. So that is one tiny check that they'll be able to do. I would expect to see them to do that.
I absolutely would. It's one of those, you're up here, you've got the tools, you have mirror, and knowing what we know, if I find a book, I'm like, well, time to go look. Because if you don't check it now, when are you coming back to Ether Tablet? Either way, always good to have boots in Spiral Cave. It is the world's longest, saddest walk otherwise. Well, it's only sad once you find a piece of heart or something of not value in that one chest. But today it's our magic boomerang. Has its uses. Not the most useful, but definitely makes a few rooms easier.
Oh yeah. Boots are so nice. And as you said earlier in the seed, when we found boots and didn't have the sword, that sword is nice to pair with those boots. It's a nice pairing.
Oh yes. It turns out having a sword in a Zelda game is a good thing.
Yes. And just to do a little reset here, this is a 2021 Challenge Cup matchup between AirShap and OvidiusNaso. This is Group E, and this is actually the winner's bracket, or the winner's side here, the top of the bracket, their group, and this is Game 3. So the winner of this is going to move on to group stages. The loser is going to move down to the bottom side and will have to face into a best of 3 matchup with IB Karma, who won on the loser's side, because this is a double elimination, so we will have much more rando coming your way.
Yes. And for more color, the Challenge Cup is eligible for our runners who don't qualify for the main tournament or have, I believe, not gotten past the first round. And as I like to say, a tournament for the rest of us. But our runners are still very talented. There's a reason I look like a fool in my tournament games. Turns out people are very good at A Link to the Past, as our runners are definitely putting on a great show for us today. So shoutouts to them. Another shoutouts to our trackers, Professor Pixie and Joss, who are doing a wonderful job keeping all of us up to date. And right now our runners are just covering each other's footsteps, clearing out pendants.
Yeah, and both of them have found the mirror, which is going to make their respective checks a little bit easier. It's easier to use the mirror instead of Death Warp and Pod, and it's making the mountain a little bit easier to navigate with, potentially opening up the Turtle Rock portal. We shouldn't have the medallion at the time, but soon AirShap will get that ether medallion. Ah, there it is.
Yes, it is. And Ovidius here pushing our statue, as we've yet to find Red Cane. We will need it for Turtle Rock, but, we're still on that hunt. We did get that mirror, as you mentioned, as we run over to Ether Tablet. We'll see what goodies it holds.
Yeah, this is the one thing that Ovidius was not able to check, just by not having the mirror, and they don't really need to worry about that. No. There will be no tears over a missed 5 rupees.
In the meantime, Aarshap going to Spike. We'll know from here he'll be rewarded with Temper Sword, which will certainly make some of our other bosses look much easier. Master Sword is great, Temper Sword is just that much better. In the meantime, we have Ovidius here doing some Dark Maze magic. Oh, excuse me, I lost track of rooms. That is our wonderful turtles and the Fire Rod proving its usefulness, letting us see what on earth is going on here as we clear out these mini Helmas to go fight Big Helma. Yeah, that's the way that works. And it looks like Aarshap's finally going to Swamp. I say finally because I would have been in here the minute I found Flipper's mirror, since it's our 5-6, but what do I know? Well, to be fair, that's quite a bit from where we sit in the commentator's booth. It's much easier to make suggestions, but instead it looks like we're heading to Bombo's tablet.
Yeah, I do like checking the Bombo's tablet before dipping into Swamp, because if it is the one thing you're looking for, you can just go mode Swamp. Whereas if it's your 7th or 8th check because nothing turned up in Swamp, it's a lot longer to have done all of Swamp. But this is just bombs, and actually they're going to that other red crystal, Desert Palace, which they have not completed yet. Kind of interesting. I think we are in, as someone pointed out in chat, let me shout them out, Professor Pixie, our tracker, I think we are in Red Cane Go mode, so it's kind of weird. We're looking for that. We still have 3 dungeons that are just kind of sitting there waiting to be touched.
And I believe you pointed it out earlier that we're relatively certain our lamp or our flute is sitting in Cave 45 here, from where we sit. And I can't think of anywhere else we missed, but
the back of Thieves Town and the Green Pendant turn in. But I think logically it's just those 4 options.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean the cane can't be there as well, or be locked behind like that flute into the mire area or something like that. Maybe the flute is in the back of Thieves Town, and the cane is, maybe it's vanilla, or maybe it's in Mire Shed or something.
Yes, and we could have Chat's Delight, and we could go put well, we can't put the red cane on pedestal, but we could maybe... No, there's actually nothing I can think of value that we could put on pedestal.
Yeah, because that red cane is what we need to beat the one crystal that we can't get into, and one of the pendants. Yeah, so there could be something useless on the pedestal. It can't be the lamp, and it can't be the flute. So because Mire requires both of those things logically.
Yes, we could have powder there, but our runners are more than capable of beating this game without some magic pixie powder.
And I think we're finally going to get in Swamp here.
Yes, I've talked about it enough that one of our runners or videos here are blessing us with the Swamp checks here.
I think we've all gotten the things we need to go into Swamp and said, I don't want to.
That's fair. And then we can't blame our runners at all for wanting to do Swamp before Ice Palace without that red cane. As you mentioned, Icebreaker just makes ice so much easier. Even with that Ice Palace bomb jump, it just still saves a bunch of time, and yeah. It is also one of my favorite tricks visually. The red cane is a wonderfully broken item.
Oh yeah. The red cane is also helpful here in Swamp, but for a couple of rail clips, but they can easily be done with some bombs if you know those. I personally learned the bomb diver down tricks because I figured I would always have bombs coming into Swamp, and I might not always have the red cane. So if anyone's thinking about learning this, that would be my suggestion to maybe learn it both ways. Sort of the same mechanics, I found.
It's one of those, like, that Ice Palace bomb jump isn't used often, but when it is used, you're always happy to have it in your arsenal.
For sure.
But as you said, bombs are pretty much a given unless you have a penchant for excessive fireworks. You should be able to find your way around. As airship, they're just making quick work of Lamos there and doing that save quit, and I grabbing the health out of the house. We'll see where he heads off to.
Would imagine this is also going to swamp. I mean, A, B, C, D. Always beat crystal dungeons.
Yep.
And that bigger draw is that it is the red crystal, which is very nice to route in immediately after doing swamp. You're in the Dark World. You can get the bomb. You can go up to the Pyramid Ferry.
Yes.
I think that's why both runners did Desert Palace before swamp.
Makes perfect sense. It's always nice to just run north of swamp and go check the pyramid. And I was gonna guess airshap was going to swamp, but I had cursed our runners to go everywhere else first, so I didn't want to say it. But we'll see what's in the back of our diver down room. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like Ovidius skipping left side to start with.
Yeah, there's more checks back here, and if you're looking for one thing, I think this is the numbers play. So
although I say skipping, well, we found the big key, right? So you can turn around.
Yeah.
And then the decision is that heart container isn't it, but gotta believe in Argus or Pyramid to find that red king.
Yeah, finding that, I think if you find that big key there, it is faster to go check the big chest immediately as opposed to beating the dungeon and then going back for the big chest, unless you're going to be going back in for left side anyway.
Correct.
So that makes sense to me. And we have Kane.
All right. Let's see here. An hour, 11 minutes and change. That is go mode for Ovidius here. Rolling the dice correctly and skipping left side. And so now we've got an Argus, a Cold Stare, and a Trinex to go bully before we climb a tower and get a barbecue going.
Yeah, they are going to be opening up very few chests, I think, along the way. Maybe looking for a third sword, but
yes,
taking care of Argus here with some slashes.
And we do have silvers for Ganon, so even if Ovidius is just on the Master Sword, that in-phase is so much easier with silvers. Master Sword silverless is not on anyone's fun list of things to do for an evening, even in a race setting.
Yeah, and down goes Argus, so Ovidius picking up their 5th crystal, and...
and our flute.
Okay, there's the flute. Oh, that's very interesting. I honestly don't even think you turn that in at this point. Where you can run right over here to Ice Palace and save and quit and go up to Turtle Rock. So I think the flute, it's one of the rare times the flute is actually useless.
Yeah, unless you're really feeling the need for potions, but we've already got a fairy and I believe Fred from our present.
Yeah, and I don't think either runner used either of their bottles yet.
No. Yep, and there is go mode for airshap. But yeah, I have to agree with you. This is one of the rare times that Ice is right here and Turtle Rocks to save quit, and then oops, you're at Ganon's Tower. A quick run past the Lionels, so this should be quick. We'll have to see. Airshap is technically a little bit behind, but he does have Tempered Sword, so we'll see how much time that sword makes up.
Yeah, buckle up, folks. This is going to be a very exciting race. I mean, this is well within the range of time the Tempered Sword can help you.
Yes. Even just on the Ganon fight.
Yeah.
Because that fourth court sword could be sitting nice and pretty in GT. It could be hidden in Mire. That's the joy of Rando. Who knows where it's hiding?
For sure. Nice. Down goes Argus on Airshap's side.
Yes. One shot, no problem.
And Ovidius hitting the switch. If you're going to beat the boss, I think you always have to hit the switch. Some key outs can make it a little slower, but they're not really worried about keys right now, and this is just the guaranteed way to get to Cold Stare as fast as possible.
For me, it's the go mode switch of if I'm looking for stuff in ice, I won't bother. But since we're in go mode, it's absolutely worth hitting it. I honestly wouldn't even open the icebreaker chest there. And in a race, you just run and gun. I suppose Ovidius here is looking for his Tempered. We know, well, from up here, there's only one sword we haven't found. So we'll see if he can crack one open, as Airshap is right on his heels, running into ice now.
Yeah, probably a minute and a half behind. I wasn't checking times, but we'll be on the lookout for that. But as I said, this is honestly anybody's race right now. And this is a game 3. These runners split the first 2 games, so you know they're both very, very good at what they're doing right now.
We're putting on a absolute show for us. I'm gonna agree with Nochi's take in chat of the if it's there, yeah, grab it. Tempered will save you time.
Yeah.
But, like, let's say, for example, we're in Turtle Rock and I have all my small keys. We're skipping Laser Bridge. We're in go mode. We're in that, as you said, we're in that game 3. There is, I mean, they are in the winner's bracket, but no one wants to go down to that bottom of groups. You want to be at the top of your group and in a great position going into the final bracket of our Challenge Cup here.
Oh, for sure. And Ovidius putting that half magic to use. That was the very first item we got today. Taking Cold Stare down with those Fire Rod shots. Well done.
And Cold Stare is down at 1:16:20 for Ovidius, so that will give us a good point of reference to see where Airshap is from his point of view as he runs down. And he gets the luxury with Tempered Sword of you just ignore the freezers, ignore the big chest, just run and gun.
Yeah, on Tempered, you are just focused on the prize right now. If you get gold, great, but it honestly doesn't make that much difference for most of the enemies that are along your way. And yeah, Ovidius just using save and quit.
Yeah.
Going up the mountain.
That is definitely the fastest way up. Go visit the old man in the mountain as Airshap drops down to Cold Stare. Yeah, the biggest worry our runners have left. Thankfully, we do have Blue Mail. Otherwise, the lower heart count could be concerning, especially for Master Sword Ganon. But with Blue Mail and 3 bottles, I have full faith in our runners to put on a good barbecue at the end of this run.
I do like a good barbecue, and that was what 1:17:30. So yeah, about a minute 10. Is that or that wasn't 2:10, was it?
Ricky said 1:16:36 Ice Palace exit, so about minute 10 as our crystal cutscene plays, our goof spins and celebrates. So yeah, minute 10, minute 20. We'll see what work we can make up in Turtle Rock. And there's
Turtle
always
Rock, one of the worst dungeons to be go moding because there's some potentially kind of frustrating key layouts, but being in go mode is just always does feel nice anyway.
Absolutely, and we are definitely within Ganon's Tower big key routing differences. even without the sword differential, but with this is a great race we've got going. So, yes, we're absolutely one, as Professor Pixie correctly points out. This is Ganon difference. You never wish a fall on anyone, but one slight mishap on Ganon is very easy to do with a set of nerves. Being Game 3, you know, it's definitely can be on our runner's mind here.
For sure, but definitely even Master Sword spins versus 12, tempered flashes is pretty significant too. So we've got our lead runner being on the Master Sword right now, which is, even the Trinex fight that's a little harder, especially your maybe you go to Hammer and you've got the the menu time and stuff like that.
Yep.
We got the big key on the left and small key on the right, and one item here. It was the magic powder, which is a nice safety item to have while they're in the rest of this dungeon and climbing Ganon's tower. So, not going to turn your nose up at that.
Absolutely not. It just makes the climb so much safer. As Ovidius gets an unfortunate bounce with that Stalfos taking his revenge there. Making quick work of that pokey with the fire rod. As aarshap is right behind doing our fire rod puzzle room.
All right, at a second key there in the chain chomp room.
We do have our big key, so...
Yeah, so we're going to grab that pokey key and scoot on back.
Yes, and run. Being in go mode, I would be shocked to see us check the lava chest today.
Yeah, there really can't be any benefit. Maybe a sword or something, but it's not worth having to then invest the time of making yourself go through the big chest.
No, not even like sword or even red mail I would find would be worth it. And Ovidius very quickly coming to that same conclusion, giving the Anti-Fairy a quick hug, but no problem as we got our key and heading back out. His question running through his mind, I bet, is do you take that big chest gamble? Because the small keys can be rude with the big chest and lava chest, but it's very small odds. Ovidius skipping both of them and seeing where our last needed small key will be.
Yeah, there is a very small chance that one small key we need is in the big chest, but it's so rare. I think you always take the gamble.
Yes.
This always also comes down to, what do you think my opponent would do? They're probably going to skip it. If we both skip it, we're both going to lose the time.
Absolutely.
And it would be even.
Right. I think, I believe it was Fred Coughlin that said it's about the same odds as Tile Room. So it's one of those, you just don't think about it and then be very upset when it happens. Either way, Ovidius running and doing a quick safety bomb at Laser Bridge.
Yeah, this is. I think they've got a fairy, but this is pretty good because they, as we said, they are on Master Sword, and dying to try next does not feel good.
No. Fortunately, we do find that small key, but Ovidius is taking the time to check the rest of the Laser Bridge, finding a bottle for his efforts. But not much else. As aarshap is right behind, doing the one dark room here in TR.
Yeah, making their way to that button in the middle.
This is, weirdly enough, one of the easier dark rooms if you know the layout, because it's as complicated as all the wires is, you can get away with just holding one direction for a long time. Oh, as Trinex is misbehaving over here on Ovidius' side.
Yeah, and the hammer is not the easiest weapon to kill most of these enemies, especially these Trinex heads here.
Aiming the hammer up is a very not fun task to be doing here.
Yeah, but luckily we got half magic, so that's very useful here in case you're accidentally making some extra shots.
Yes, Ovidius absolutely seems to have stabilized, gotten Trinex back under control, as our favorite turtle dog sheds his shell, and we head into phase 2 of the fight.
Yeah, gonna take some hammer hits and some Master Sword slashes here. I think one more hammer hit will do it. There we go.
Yep.
7th crystal down for Ovidius. And get your big key guesses in chat right now. There are 22 locations in Ganon's Tower. One of them has the big key. We will be following the first of our runners, which at this point looks like Ovidius, to enter Ganon's Tower and get some very fancy internet points, if you are correct.
We all love our internet points. Josh, they're stealing my normal 13, but I just wished our run has a world of fun with 21 here. But what can I say? The race has been so good. I can't bear to see it end. As aarshap also making quick work of Trinex there, showing how strong that tempered sword is.
Yeah, that tempered sword made that fight a lot quicker. Ricky of Kokiri, our streamer, helping us out in chat with TR exit of 124.50, and it looks like aarshap is now less than a minute behind Ovidius, who is now in Ganon's Tower. Gonna go right side first. We're gonna get 2 checks over here.
Yes. Check Hope Room for a heart container and a small key.
Okay, and it looks like they're going to take that key and go immediately right.
I personally like this play, as I like to put ice armors off as long as possible if I get that small key. But everyone has their own opinions on Ganon's Tower routing. As aarshap is opening his Ganon's Tower, we have 1 big key and a Ganon fight to go, and it's anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, it's routing and execution. Mainly execution, as it looks like they're both going to be going the same way here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Both of them giving tile room. That makes sense.
There are some serious galaxy brains if you're checking tile room, because I can't imagine either our runners feel that behind. There was, besides the Zora Moon Pearl, there was nothing that obnoxious about the seed, and with Moon Pearl and Zora, that's just one of those you assume your opponent had just as much frustration as you did. As those Gibdos are really giving aarshap some trouble there.
Yeah, finally gets that Samaria block down. Ovidius is in the DM room here, the Stalfos room. Oh, there it is. There's our big key. We've got 3 big keys looking for... Oh, another sword! Oh!
Oh my, we've got a race now.
Well, so it's going to be interesting to see if aarshap does the left chests or the right chests first, because if they get the right chests, they're probably going to mirror out as soon as they get that big key. But if they go left first, they're going to get that sword before getting the key. Tempered and gold, not really a huge difference, but Ovidius is in the lead here.
Yes, Gold Syrup does make those 1-1s pretty trivial, but Master to Tempered is a massive upgrade. But aarshap indeed pulling that gold sword, so we'll still have that sword advantage, but gold to Tempered is not nearly advantaged Tempered to Master was.
Yeah, that Ganon fight can get tricky with tempered. You know, it's not uncommon to 2 or 3 cycle it if you don't get the 1-in-1. So this game ain't over yet, folks. Hope you're comfortable because we're going to be sitting here on the edge of your seat for a little bit.
Let's see, old ad, pay for the whole seat, only need the edge. But we've got a gauntlet for both runners here. Aarshap making quick work of those red mimics. It is about 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms behind. So again, it just comes down to that Aga geometry, that Ganon execution. And away we go.
And there's a couple more big bosses on our way up here. You know, Landmos can give a lot of people trouble.
Absolutely.
If you don't get them one cycle, we do have silver arrows. It's
right.
Nice to be doing this, but these are some really good rooms here on both sides so far.
Absolutely. Both runners making this climb look easier than it is, but they are both well equipped with half magic silvers, fire rods, golden tempered. It's a pretty nice loadout to be climbing with. As you said, Ovidius taking tempered and fire rod to Landmo. They can be tricky to track down with silver arrows if you don't get them at the beginning. But that little fireball launcher is... it's amazing how much one launcher makes that fight so much more difficult. But yeah, Aarshap taking 2 quick silver arrows, misses the third, but quickly gets it, and that's a lot of time saved. Those silver arrows dispatching in one shot as opposed to that fire rod too. They're neck and neck at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
These Wizrob's room taking almost no time at all for both runners.
Red King making good work of both of them. And I appreciate our tracker's comment here, Professor Pixie, saying that a really nice Lambo fight making up for the Gibdo bullying. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And both of our runners have a plethora of small keys, so no one will need to kill the mini Helmas. Just run on past. We've got Moldorm II to go face off. Interesting choice on Ovidius' side there to check that inner chest. I can't say I know what you were hoping for there.
Fourth sword probably.
Sure.
Just to get that guaranteed 1-in-1 on Ganon, or not having to do a spin here on Moldorm 2. But Moldorm 2 is down. Hookshotting over.
Yep.
Moldorm 2 down on Aarshap side as well.
So, both runners ignoring validation chest as we quickly run off to our favorite math teacher Aga for geometry. And we have an absolute nail-biter here. It's see what that gold sword can do for Aarshap and Ganon, and we've got some good spins going here on Ovidius' side. Oh. That set of blue balls being absolutely rude to Ovidius there. As we have Aga 2 down on his side at 132.36.
And Aga turns into Ganon, flies away. Let's go follow him to the pyramid.
Yes. Then Aga down at 132.56 for Aarshap.
Definitely within the range of a gold 1-in-1 versus a tempered 2-in-1 or 2-in-2 or something like that. Definitely in that range. So we could see the lead jockey here a little bit.
Absolutely.
Ovidius dropping into Ganon.
Ovidius has a few more hearts, but both runners in blue mail, plenty of hearts. Lots of safety with the bottles.
Yeah. Gonna put that cape or just have that cape in case they need it.
Yep, making phase 2 here easier for Ovidius, but not getting the first 1-1. As aarshap does with, Gold Sword, as I said, Trivial might be a strong world, but it does make the first 2 phases so much easier. As both runners are in phase 3 of the Ganon fight. The hops will be the same unless a runner misses one, but we are 2 hits away from each other. This has been a great race, and what an awesome finish to an awesome race.
Ganon just flying around here.
Yeah, taking the scenic route around.
Oh, missing the torch glitch there, but not really a big deal when you have silvers. Getting another one. We got 2 and 3 arrows into Ganon, and a 4th arrow.
Very nice.
As Ganon on aarshap's side is lamenting the fact that silvers are there.
GG to our runner. Ovidius here with an official race time of 1:34.46 will be our winner in today's race. Get your GGs in chat, as aarshap also makes quick work of Ganon.
Yeah, what a great race that was. Aarshap just coming a little bit behind our winner today, OvidiusNaso.
And aarshap also finishes with a race time of 1:35.14. GGs to him, and it looks like we are pulling our runners in for a post-game interview. Looks like they're both here. GGs to both of you. That was a great race and great times by all.
GGs.
Yeah, GG.
Either of you have thoughts on the seed? I'm sure we have plenty of questions for you, but wanted to give you two a moment to give your piece before we dive into it.
Well, first, I think we had a couple good matches. Both of us missed an item in the first 2, but this one was super close, so glad you guys restreamed it. It looked great.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys were not really in the same place a lot of the time, but, going over each other's steps, sort of, both going to Zora within a couple minutes of each other and getting go mode about a minute and a half apart, I think.
Right.
So it was very fun to see the different routing and if you guys both climbing the tower at the same time.
Yeah, it was, it always feels pretty bad to lose by 30 seconds. So you're just thinking back to, the 1 or 2 choices that you made that could have gone differently. I know I took that death and pod that stunk. And saving and quitting out of Thieves Town was a little weird. I ended up having to route back to Village Vac Ass. So it's easy to just go back and think through all these little things that didn't really pan out. But yeah, like Naso said, we had some good races here. So it was great that you were able to catch this last one. And yeah, congrats for moving on. If I can see you in brackets, but you deserve the win for sure.
Yeah, the first thing I said in the game chat was I'm glad I realized most of the way to Zora that I ran out of money, because that would have been another good 20 seconds or something. I don't know.
Yes, for all the red rupees in Kakariko, it actually wasn't that generous on money.
Yeah, you don't have to hula hand too often in standard or open seeds, so I had to dust that one off.
Yeah, both of you ended up having to hula-hand there. And, the seed was generous enough that you only had to hula-hand and then go right there. You didn't have to farm for rupees right after that, considering there wasn't a lot of places to go do that.
Yeah, no, it...
But yeah, the good news is, the bad news is one of you had to lose. It was game 3, but the good news is you're just going to go on and have a chance to redeem yourself in the lower part of the group here against IB Karma next week in round 3 of groups.
Yeah, Karma and I had some pretty close races in the first round, so that's super cool. Looking forward to it.
Oh, really? So it's a rematch in the tiebreaker.
Yep. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's all good. I've been so impressed with like the level of play and the close races in the Challenge Cup so far. So I'm glad I've get to have some close ones, and we'll get to have some more, I'm sure, with Karma. It's a good player for sure.
Absolutely.
The talent players is just too good, I think. And in both matches I was down 1-0, so it just put myself in a corner right off the bat. But snuck them out, I guess.
Hey. I mean, this was awesome to watch from our end. We were commenting that even though this is the Challenge Cup, there's still a really high level of play being put on here. 134 and 135 are nothing to sneeze at in either player's case. And it was a great run all around. I gotta ask Ovidius here, what'd you feel when you found that tempered sword in GT?
Yeah, I was quite relieved finding that tempered sword there. Where was the fourth sword that ARShap found?
That was at the dig spot, and so the shovel was, I think, in pod. So Ovidius got that.
Correct.
Yeah, that was really the big difference between you two going into GT, and we didn't know where that fourth sword was, and made it a little more spicy. One of you went left, and one of you went right in that Stallfalls room.
Oh, yeah. So another example of a choice that makes up for those 30 seconds. Yeah. I think finding that sword was indicative of me being maybe a little overly thorough at times. Our race last night was decided by me just like missing an ice rod in a dumb spot. So so I was like following my fetch quests and stuff like that when I think the play was just going up the mountain out of logic, and unfortunately it just took me a little too long to do that.
Yeah,
I'm all for being thorough when you're on Master Sword, because the difference between Tempered and Master Sword is quite big when you get to the Ganon fight.
Absolutely. It's interesting, neither of our runners found that logical lamp, showing us how to do pod in the dark. Probably the hardest dark room you had to do, but I'd have to be curious. What was it, hiding on Green Pendant? I don't believe either of our runners checked Cave 45.
No one did. Yeah, it was either something at Thieves Town or the Green Pendant, or in Cave 45. I think we narrowed it down to.
Yeah, I assumed it was Cave 45 at that point. I'd isolated it pretty hard, so yep.
Great work, the both of you. Best of luck, Ovidius in the bracket and AirShop in that bottom of group finals. Hope to have the seed rollers be nice and keep doing all the good work. Anyone have any final words as we watch these credits roll and wrap up another awesome match in the Challenge Cup?
Yeah, well, thanks for the good race, and thanks for hosting. And then also, I guess, thanks for rolling the seed, because ARShap rolled the first one, he rolled the first one and won, and I rolled the second one and won. So it only seemed fair that a mutual party should roll the third.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm starting to develop some superstitions around this for sure. But yeah, thanks so much for the restream. I've been able to do a little bit of comms during these two tournaments, and I know it's a lot of work, both on the comm side and Pixie and Joss tracking. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for giving us a great race to commentate and track and restream. It was a pleasure on our end as well.
Absolutely. And as Ricky and I have put in the chat, please give our runners a follow. They put on an awesome show. It is twitch.tv/aarshap and twitch.tv/OvidiusNaso. They did an amazing job and have more tournament matches to go watch. I myself is at Aerial Plays. Dapper Wormman is, well, at Dapper Wormman. Imagine that. We also have our amazing trackers at Professor Pixie and Joss Bleeden, who are also great members of our community. And if you are interested in volunteering, there is the Zelda Speedruns Discord. I don't know if the bot does the Discord link, but it is.
There you go.
Aha! Wonderful. Thank you, Ricky. And also a big shout out to Ricky for organizing all of us comms trackers and getting this show put on for everyone. It's been a ton of fun, and I can't wait for more Zelda.
Hell yeah. Speaking of more Zelda, at 2:10 p.m. tomorrow, we have another Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup match. Another Game 3 between Maya Nico and Smurg JD. I know I butchered that pronunciation. And also on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the Skyward Sword Randomizer 2021 Winter Tournament final match of the season. We already had our finals for that tournament, but we have the bronze match tomorrow, which is Kit Cop versus Jazzix 08. Pretty hype match to watch. I hope you all find something you want to see. And again, thank you to all the volunteers, thank you to the runners, thank you to all our viewers. Hope you had a great time watching, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!